At the beginning of the film, Chloe arrives at the airport. It's her father's birthday, a day they had planned to spend together. But those plans were cancelled at the last minute. Her father, a commercial pilot, had been called in for an urgent flight. Chloe still came to the airport, hoping to see him, even if just for a moment. While waiting, she noticed a news reporter nearby, filming a segment about the destruction unfolding across the city. As the cameras rolled, a distressed woman walked up to the crew. She claimed everything that was happening had already been foretold, written in the Bible. Chloe overheard the conversation. Troubled, she stepped forward and asked the woman, "If God already knows everything, why is he letting innocent people die? Why doesn't he save them?" The woman had no answer, so she walked away. Chloe also went to the waiting area. The reporter approached her to thank her for stepping in. She had helped him get away from the woman. He sat down next to Chloe, and she told him that her mom also has a lot of faith in God, and they often have debates about it. We then see Chloe's dad, the pilot. He quietly removes his wedding ring. From a distance, he notices Chloe sitting with the reporter and assumes they've become friends. Chloe goes over to meet her dad and asks him to help fix things between her and her mom. Her dad replies that he doesn't think things will get better. They got married a long time ago, and it was good at first, but over time, everything changed. He says Chloe's mom brings God into everything, and that's what ruined their relationship. After saying this, he walks away, and Chloe goes to get coffee with the reporter. While they talk about how strongly people believe in God, an airport employee walks over and hands them 2 tickets to London. Chloe's dad thought that Chloe liked the reporter. Chloe's dad had sent those tickets so they could spend more time together. But Chloe didn't want them. She gave the tickets to the reporter, who was now flying on her dad's plane. After boarding, the reporter returned the tickets to the pilot. By then, Chloe had already left for home. When she got home, the first person she saw was her brother. She hugged him and was very happy. Then she went to her mom. She wanted to talk about her dad and hoped they could fix their relationship. But her mom started talking about God again. This led to another argument between them. To feel better, Chloe went to the mall with her brother. They had a lot of fun. While they were together, her brother asked, "When will everything be okay between mom and dad?" Chloe felt a little sad hearing this. But to comfort him, she hugged him and said, "Everything will be fine soon." As she said that, her brother suddenly disappeared. His clothes were still in her hands. She didn't understand what had just happened. When she looked around, she saw that many people in the mall had disappeared. There was chaos everywhere. She was still sitting on the floor when she noticed a car coming from a distance. She quickly stood up. The car crashed through the mall's glass entrance. Chloe saw that the driver was also missing, which is why the car was out of control. Many people inside the mall were scared. When Chloe went outside, she saw a huge traffic jam. Many drivers had disappeared from their cars too. Meanwhile, on Chloe's dad's plane, everything seemed normal at first. Then, suddenly, the plane started shaking badly. When passengers looked around, they realized that several people sitting next to them had vanished. The plane began drifting off course. Chloe's dad went into the cockpit and saw that the co-pilot had also disappeared. He took control of the aircraft and stabilized it. But the reason behind the disappearances was still a mystery. The passengers began to panic after noticing so many people were gone. They didn't know that this was happening all over the world. Some of them got aggressive and started banging on the cockpit door. The reporter tried to calm everyone down. He told them that instead of panicking, they should try to find a solution. But the crowd wouldn't settle. To calm everyone down, the pilot reduced the oxygen level in the cabin. When passengers had trouble breathing, they sat down and used the oxygen masks. At the same time, the pilot was trying to contact the airline, but no one was responding. He told the passengers that he didn't know what was happening and hadn't received any updates either. He asked everyone to stay calm and work together to figure out a solution. But everyone was crying here. The reporter began interviewing the friends and families of those who had disappeared. They all said the same thing, nothing felt strange, but suddenly their loved ones were gone. Only their clothes were left behind. There was a woman who went to the washroom, took some medicine, and then came back to tell the reporter that none of this was real. There was also a Muslim man who believed in God. He thought everyone was playing a prank on him. But a boy stood up and started arguing with him, saying, "Why would we prank you? God did this. And because everyone believes in different gods, he can't hear any of us." In the cockpit, Chloe's dad was trying to find a place to make an emergency landing in New York. The fuel level was also very low. The scene shifts to Chloe. She had managed to get out of the mall and reached her car. But just before she could leave, she saw a plane coming straight toward her, with no one flying it. She quickly moved aside, and the plane crashed into her car, destroying it. Chloe walked forward in shock. Just then, two bikers came by and stole her handbag. She tried to chase them, but then saw a bus that had fallen off a bridge. Terrified, she ran down to help, but there was no one on the bus. All the passengers had disappeared. She reached a road and saw the same kind of chaos everywhere. She tried calling her mom, but there was no response. Many cars on the road had crashed. Running further, she stopped near a shop. Inside, people were robbing a jewelry store. Suddenly, someone stepped out and pointed a gun at her. Chloe immediately turned and ran away. As she kept going, she saw a pile of clothes lying next to a sign. The sign read, "The end is here." It meant the world was coming to an end. She looked at the news. Reports of destruction were everywhere. Not only in New York, but all over the world, people had disappeared. Chloe now hoped her mom might be at the hospital. When she tried to go there, she saw a huge crowd. There was no way to get inside. So, Chloe went around to the other side, broke a window, and entered the hospital. But even inside, it was packed with people. She reached the children's ward. A nurse told her that all the children had disappeared, not just from this hospital, but from around the world. The scene cuts back to Chloe's dad on the plane. He was preparing for an emergency landing. Suddenly, another plane appeared on his radar. He tried to contact it, but both pilots on that plane had disappeared. The passengers were still there, but the plane had no one flying it. Chloe's dad couldn't help that plane. All he could do was try to save his own. He attempted to move his plane to the side, but couldn't avoid it completely. The wing of his plane hit the other aircraft and got damaged. From the window, the reporter saw the other plane go down. It had completely lost control and was crashing. There was a short man on the plane who believed that all of this was caused by the Muslim man sitting nearby. He opened the man's bag to check it but found nothing except an electric toothbrush. Still, the short man started getting angry at him. Another passenger stepped in and calmed him down, saying that humans don't have any technology that can make people disappear. This must be the work of aliens or some advanced civilization. The plane's damaged wing started shaking badly. The reporter took a photo of the wing and went to the cockpit, where Chloe's dad was flying the plane. Chloe's dad told him that the wing was damaged, which would make landing very difficult. The pilot wanted to inspect it himself, but since the co-pilot had disappeared, he asked Cameron, the reporter, to check the wing's condition. This time, Cameron saw that fuel was leaking from the wing. Before he could return to the cockpit and tell the pilot, a woman on the plane panicked. She started crying and said, "I want to go where my son has gone." During this moment, one of the wings caught fire. The fire was caused by the continuous leaking of fuel. Seeing the flames, the passengers became even more frightened. Cameron rushed to the cockpit and told the pilot about the fire. The pilot said he couldn't do anything to stop it because the plane was already running low on fuel. He just wanted to land the plane in New York before the fuel ran out. Soon after, the fire in the wing went out on its own, because the fuel in that wing had completely run out. The scene cuts to Chloe, who had reached her house. She looked around at her neighbors. Everyone was in grief, having lost someone close. Chloe entered her house with a heavy heart. She called out for her mom but couldn't find her. In the washroom, she saw her mom's jewelry left behind. Then she found her mother's Bible, where a note was left for her. Reading it, Chloe got angry. She picked up the Bible and threw it out of the house. Then she went to the church. Chloe was heartbroken. She asked the priest what was happening, and why. The priest told her it was a blessing. Those who disappeared had gone to heaven. He said God had also taken the children because the times ahead would be too hard, and he didn't want them to see it. Chloe didn't believe him. She left in anger. The scene shifts back to the plane. Chloe's dad sat silently, feeling deeply sad. While looking around, he found the co-pilot's watch. On it, the words, John 3:60, were engraved. The verse on the watch was from the Bible. It spoke about believing in God. The air hostess also brought a note with the same verse written on it. After reading both, the pilot understood, God had taken all the people who truly believed in him. He realized that maybe his wife was also among them. On the plane, a woman suddenly pointed a gun at the other passengers. She believed her husband had made all of this happen just to take their daughter away from her. Everyone tried to calm her down. The same woman from earlier in the film, the one who took medicine and had mentioned the Bible, spoke up again. She said, "I read that one day, God will take away those who love him. I believe all of them have gone to heaven." Hearing this, the woman with the gun broke down. She said she couldn't live without her daughter. She thought about ending her own life. But Cameron, the reporter, stepped in and managed to calm her down. Afterward, Cameron entered the cockpit. The pilot was still trying to contact the airport. Finally, someone responded and confirmed that people had gone missing all over the world. The pilot said he wanted to land the plane in New York. But he was told that landing there was not possible. Many planes had already crashed at the airport, and there was no safe space left to land. Cameron was also listening to everything. Before the pilot could get any further instructions, the connection was lost. Cameron told the pilot that he had a satellite phone. He said, "If you want, you can talk to your daughter one last time. Because now, it seems like we're not going to survive." The pilot was emotional. He said he wanted to apologize to his daughter. He looked at the tickets he had given to her earlier. He said, "Chloe wanted me and her mom to fix our relationship. Things went bad, and it wasn't her mom's fault. It was mine." He continued, "Whenever she talked about God, I used to argue with her." The scene cuts to Chloe. She had climbed to the top of a bridge. She thought no one in her family was alive anymore, and she had nothing left. She was about to jump when her phone rang. It was Cameron. He told her, "Your dad wants to talk to you." The pilot took the phone and said, "Chloe, I love you very much. And whatever happened between me and your mom, it was not her fault." He also told her, "We can't land the plane. There's no safe place left. We don't have a choice, we're going to die." Before Chloe could respond, the signal cut off. She quickly got down from the bridge and sat on a bike parked nearby. Here we Chloe's dad in the plane, informing the passengers that there was no safe place to land. He told them the plane might crash in the air and everyone could die. So, he said, it was better to remember God at this time. Meanwhile, Chloe was driving fast and reached a construction site. She was familiar with this area. There was a wide, open road here where her dad could land the plane. After clearing the space, Chloe called her dad and told him she had found a landing spot. But the plane's compass wasn't working. Chloe sent him her location, but even then, it was hard to find the exact landing area. The plane had very little fuel left, and there was no more time to wait. Chloe called her dad again. He told her the place needed to be marked with a big light so they could see it clearly from the sky. Without wasting time, Chloe got out of the car, took out her car's fuel, and set it on fire. The flames helped the pilot spot the landing area from above. Chloe was still on the path where the plane needed to land. She was driving her truck forward to clear the way, but then she noticed the fire behind her getting bigger. She lost control and the truck got stuck on the side. The plane started descending and hit some overhead cables but was still able to stay in the air. The damaged wing was very close to hitting the ground, and there was a risk of explosion. But the pilot managed to handle it. The plane continued moving forward, toward Chloe, who was still in the truck. She was terrified and lowered her head. Luckily, the plane passed right over her without hitting her. Chloe was safe. But there was a gas tank in front of the plane, and it was about to collide with it. If that happened, the tank would explode, and everyone could die. Just before the plane could hit the gas tank, it came to a stop. The landing was successful. All the passengers were safe, which made the air hostess very happy. She immediately opened the emergency slide, and everyone started getting out of the plane quickly. The pilot and the reporter, Cameron, also got out. Chloe hugged Cameron and gave her dad his wedding ring. They all stood there, watching the destruction in the city with fear and tension. Chloe's dad said, "This is the end of the world." Chloe replied, "No. This is just the beginning of the destruction." And with that, the story ends.